Some Ultra League action for today's content as we're covering some battles submitted by Rolling the Heat. This trainer shared with me that they would like to have Giratina origin form over Trevenant sometimes in their battles, because with Giratina you get extra coverage against the fire types, and that's gonna be a pretty much great deal. Not only that, but also I guess that the Rock Slide version of Armored Mewtwo could also do the trick over here. So anyways, now we're just gonna keep going at it now with that closer of Trevenant, and I think that Rolling the Heat is a skilled trainer that can easily manipulate their opponents to doing some severe mistakes, and Giratina will just fall down miserably. Now we have a lot of energy to spare. I guess we have to get on the Shadow Ball at some point, but they end up returning to the battle with the Feraligatr. Down goes that Pokemon. At the very end lies a Gengar, and despite the fact that they have the shield advantage and they have a ghost type, well, those confusions are gonna connect for massive damage. Opponent realize this, and of course they back out into the next game with a terrible lead against a Tapu Fini as we're meeting up with a Zapdos. Are you kidding me? I love this Pokemon. So whenever I see it in action, well, I'm all excited about it, and we're meeting it up with our Armored Mewtwo. Not only we can survive the move here, but also, as it seems, another Drill Peck can easily be tanked. But before they get there, I really like this play by Rolling the Heat. We can get an easy shield out of our opponent, and if we can block here correctly the Thunderbolt, we're gonna be on a very good spot. However, this opponent goes for the Drill Peck, so this has to be just another one and we can easily survive it. So by blocking here, we might actually get out of this battle with the switch advantage, which is pretty great, and especially now this Tapu Fini that has to face our final Pokemon instead of our Guzzlord. So now with the Red Seal coming into the game, perhaps we need to still come into the battle with Trevenant. They see it, and of course they have a big problem against Trevenant and they back out. Into the next game now with a Giratina up in front, having the move Dragon Breath as their fast attack. Believe it or not, right now Giratina stands on the high ground, and we will try to apply the sneaky debuff with the Crunch. However, this is not gonna happen, and before we go down, we get the chance here to draw a shield, another shield out of this Giratina. So Guzzlord is really putting off some work with its shiny form, almost able to land that final Dragon Tail, but it is not gonna happen. Giratina will farm us down. Now they have a Talonflame at the very end, and here is where a Giratina of your own in place of that Trevenant, or just a Rock Slide version of Mewtwo, can really help you a ton. Anyways, the battle is definitely not over yet, as we're getting now super close to another Side Strike. This is pretty huge. If we can draw a shield at this point, opponent doesn't fall for the streak, and now we need to survive the falling move. I'm pretty sure that we are not gonna block. Oh my goodness, we did, and now Moonblast is just gonna be blocked, but at this point Talonflame really has the upper hand with all that energy gain. Rolling the Heat could have won this if they had a Giratina at the end, so feel free to rotate around that Pokemon if you feel like you have to. But well played to our trainer, and now let's keep going into the next battle as we're having another rough lead, this time against a Registeel, and we cannot switch out yet, at least not before we land the debuff with the Crunch. This is absolutely awesome, and now with a simple Dynamic Punch we might actually do the trick over that Metal Trash Can. Now they have another move, this time the Zap Cannon, not the Focus Blast, and we can easily survive this move as well. This is how good and bulky Armored Mewtwo can really be. Side Strike now able to outspeed Registeel to the charge attack, and we might actually see the Registeel go down. They have at the back a Sylveon. This is absolutely awesome for us because now we can avoid it with our Guzzlord, but perhaps this can be a double charm team and we might still be in a very difficult situation. Anyways, now gonna overcharge a lot here, and now we're just gonna bring our Guzzlord into play. I'm pretty sure that as soon as we can escape that Blizzard scenario, we might be on a very good spot. Once again, we're getting our hands on the Crunch to try and and apply the debuff, this is not gonna happen at all, and I guess that there is no reason at all to go for any shield here. We can easily get on the knockout without breaking any sweat at all, and of course they still have a charmer at the very end waiting for us. With Silver now returning as their final Pokemon, we can get on the Shadow Ball. Let's hope they are gonna take the move. This is pretty huge. They were expecting the Seed Bomb and we can easily farm down right after. This is wonderful to get a win like this, and now into the next battle as we're facing a Shadow Dragonite. Not only that, but as it seems we passed through a whole Dragon Tail, which means that with one shield we might actually be able to completely farm down. The crazy incident just happened, able to destroy down that Shadow Dragonite, and they have Charizard at the very end. So obviously here Rock Slide could have done the trick, but still a Side Strike can connect for a lot of damage, a ton of damage to be exact, so we can grab some shields out of play. If this is a Dragonclaw, perhaps we can survive here, so let's see what it is. It is a Dragonclaw. We can get on the Side Strike, but our opponent was definitely counting our moves, so they're gonna win that CMP. It doesn't matter because we can still return here with whatever Pokemon and get a lot of energy in the process as their energy dry. However, Rolling the Hit is gonna go for the Dragonclaw. Now at the very end they have a Golisopod, and this is all of a sudden a crazy turnaround of events. So we're gonna block here the X-Scissor. I guess we need to block at least one anyways, so now with the Seed Bomb we can do some extra pressure on their end. If I were Rolling the Hit, perhaps I could go here for the Shadow Ball. We saw before that the opponent took the move, and overall, well, the battle is definitely not over yet because we need to switch out. We can do it successfully and we can get this huge victory with the final Dragonclaw. Opponent leaves the battle because they just got themselves off guard. Into the next game now with a Giratina altered form, and we're just gonna keep going at it with our Dragon Tails, and this Giratina doesn't have any of those Dragon Breath, so we're gonna be just fine. Once again, we're getting our hands on the crunch because we can get the debuff if they block, and they do, so this is absolutely awesome. We can still rely a lot on our Guzzlord by tanking one more super effective charge attack and of course deliver the finishing blow without spending any shields at all. Now on the switch, we're meeting up with the Ampharos, and we're switch locked in there, but it's still kinda good for us because we can survive pretty easily one Brutal Swing, while a single Side Strike can connect here for massive damage. The opponent once again has a Zapdos. Are you kidding me? We are not even halfway the video and opponents have already two of those Zapdos. Are we gonna see any more? Let's see together. So Side Strike here is gonna do a ton of damage. They want to block, but unfortunately for them they cannot farm down at all, so they need to sacrifice some energy in the process, and this is absolutely crucial because now we can still do a ton of damage even with our Guzzlord able to resist by a lot those Thunder Shocks. So I guess we can let our Guzzlord go down and rely completely on Trevenant for the very end game, and even if they get here to the Drill Peck by blocking once, we're gonna be on a very good spot at destroying them down. So now we're getting on the Seed Bomb because Ampharos is their final Pokemon, and that is gonna be the end game of this one. Into the next battle now, trainers, with a Shadow Granbull. Terrible scenario. I guess that this is even worse than Tapu Fini, so let's see how we can turn around these events. So we're just gonna keep going with a Side Strike. Opponent has access to a Shadow Feraligatr, which is a pretty big deal for our team, and I believe that here we can still survive one Hydro Cannon, but I guess it is still pretty much worth to go ahead and block because we definitely need to avoid that Granbull with our Guzzlord. Opponent doesn't fall though for our cheap tricks, and we're just gonna go down to the Hydro. So they maintain here the alignment, but without any shields at all, they might be in a pickle. Why did they switch out? Are you kidding me? Obstagoon joins the party, and at this point I believe that Guzzlord is pretty happy with the outcome because no matter how many obstacles they're gonna build there, we still have avoided that Granbull. What were they thinking about? And with that in mind, we can easily go down here to their moves, but they're getting 2 more of those obstructs. I have no clue why they play like this. We can easily go here for the Dragon Claw, apply even more pressure now with our Shadow Claws, and even if they get here to the heavy Night Slash, we can still survive and absolutely destroy them down with a simple Shadow Ball. So here comes now the nuke. Let's see if they can survive, but I doubt so. Oh my goodness, they did. So anyways, 1 Shadow Claw later and 2 more for the Obstacle to get the victory, and of course they messed up a ton. Into the next battle now with an Iliolisk up in front, and this Pokemon can always have something like a breaking swipe, so we need to be extra careful, especially when they can apply the debuff, and this Pokemon does it right straight ahead. So now our moves hit even less, but hopefully we can still switch out on our Armored Mewtwo to see how they want to respond, and as it seems we bait out of there a Cresselia, so this is absolutely fine. We are both bulky enough, but they can hit us for neutral damage with their moves, while ours deal for sure not very effective. So this is another incident that perhaps Rock Slide can be a much better replacement than Dynamic Punch, but Rolling the Hit keeps going at it with Dynamic Punch because perhaps we need some extra coverage against threats like Registeel. So anyways, now we still manage to survive those Grass Knoots. Absolutely amazing. This individual battle takes a long to be unfolded, but you already get the memo. These are 2 pretty bulky Pokemon, pretty safe as well, and this is mainly because of their defensive stats. Anyways, now we're just gonna keep going at it with our Trevenant. Finally we can see some action, since we can do a ton of damage with our Shadow Claws, and before they get here to another Moonblast, we're just gonna fire off a Seed Bomb to start and get some shields out of play. Opponent goes for the shield here, which is some pretty crucial information for their backline. Perhaps they're completely weak to our Pokemon over here. So Feraligatr emerges out of nowhere. We connect the huge Seed Bomb, trying to catch a move on our Gastrodon. Did we catch the correct one? It is the Hydro. Let's get it now, trainers. Iliolisk returns, but they stand no chance at all, and of course right after we can easily push for any shield scenario, because Dragon Claw here is just gonna connect for the lethal damage. Dragonite on Shadow Mode. Once again, trainers, let's see how we're gonna do this time, and once again we managed to pass through a whole Dragon Tail of damage. This is absolutely awesome. Down they go, and of course Gastrodon here can still survive the moves. So lock on, right? So it has to be a Reggie. Absolutely crucial for them, because they can never farm down, while in the process they're gonna get a lot of crunches on their way. So Armored Mewtwo is just gonna come into the battle with a heavy defense to tank whatever they throw. Feraligatr is once again their final Pokemon, so I guess that we can easily push for those shields right now. Even though those Shadow Claws are gonna connect for super effective damage, they are never enough to farm us down. This is how bulky Armored Mewtwo can be sometimes. If you have this Pokemon, you need to use it accordingly on Ultra League, and you are not gonna regret it. By blocking here, we can guarantee some extra pressure on their end, especially when we can drop that shield out of play, and of course right after a couple of Dragon Tails might actually do the trick over that Feraligatr, because they're getting even lower by the minute. So Trevenant now joins the party. Hopefully this is no crunch, no Ice Beam, let's it together, just a Hydro, down they go. Registeel comes into the game, and this Shadow Ball has to do just enough damage to finish them off, or at least bring them pretty close to fainting, and of course we can grab this victory because of how solid Trevenant can be. Shadow Feraligatr up in front. If you have a Shadow Feraligatr, do not use it up on the lead. Use it at the back, you're not gonna regret it, unless you want to use it on an ABB team style to protect it for the very end game by aggressively switching out on your safe switch to draw out something that your closer is afraid of. Anyways, now with tanking here those hydro cannons, we can push them even further to their limits with another Dragon Claw. So as it seems, they are gonna go down, so they switch out in a very bad moment for them, and at this point by blocking here we can push even further with the crunch. Let's see if they fall for our trap here. If they go for the shield, no, they're not gonna do this, but after the crunch we have dropped them at a point that those confusions might actually do the trick over Charizard. Not only that, but also we managed to survive the blast burn kinda with ease. Feraligatr comes into the game, and of course we can finish it off without charging up the move at all. So they have now a Trevenant of their own, but hopefully another Side Strike can connect here for a lot of damage. They decide to block. This is absolutely huge, and I guess that our own Trevenant can easily outspeed even though they have a ton of energy. Trying to catch the move here, well, that did not work at the start, but the opponent still falls for the trap, and I guess that if we can block here at least once, we might be in the perfect situation to destroy them down with a simple seed bomb, because they're getting even lower by the second, so down they go to our not very effective move. Into the next game now, Gazlord against Giratina. We have also seen this individual battle before, but this time they have once again Dragon Breath. So yeah, not looking that great for us, because with Dragon Breath, believe it or not, this Giratina can beat down Umbreons, Obstagoons, and of course even Gazlord if we are not careful. At this point, this time we decide to go for the shield. I really understand this move by rolling the hit, makes a ton of sense actually. We want to see how they want to respond here to our second Dragon Claw, and now they switch out. This is some bad play by the opponent. I think that this should not have happened. Anyways, they end up sniping us down with the Ampharos, but still we can survive at least one brutal swing, while those Volt switches are never gonna do enough damage. Before they do anything weird here though, we still manage to get our hands on the seed bomb and get the shield out of play. This is huge now, because we're gonna block at this point, and I guess Trevenant needs to switch out at some point. Oh my goodness, this is not gonna happen. Just gonna go for another seed bomb, and this Ampharos now is gonna back out with a little bit of extra energy farmed up. This is one of the few situations that you actually need Dynamic Punch over a Snorlax, but I haven't seen a lot of Snorlaxes around, to be fair. On my battles at least, I am around Veteran at this point, and not a lot of Snorlaxes exist in the meta. Anyways, now able to get some pretty nice nukes with our Side Strikes here. Down they go to our move, and yeah, Ampharos I guess has really nothing to offer at this point, but they still have Giratina. Giratina goes down at the same time with our Pokemon, and before we snipe them, Ampharos will just steal this win for our opponent. Absolutely great game, as we're facing now a Talonflame up in front in the next battle. So Poliwrath on the switch, and here is where Psychic Pokemon can really excel against those fighters, able to hold them down completely, and especially when you have a Pokemon like Armored Mewtwo, which can do heavy pressure with those confusions, charge up a ton of energy, and in the process you can land a couple of Side Strikes on the next Pokemon. Even Talonflame here is not safe from our moves, and Talonflame has already farmed up a couple of Incinerates. I guess that they could easily go ahead and survive at least a move from our side, because we have all of those debuffs from those Icy Winds. Even two of those Side Strikes could easily be taken by Talonflame, but anyways, now we're just gonna return to the battle with the Gazlord. Let's see how they want to play this, able to get now on the Flame Charge, and I believe that this is the perfect timing for us to go for the shield. I was about to say unshielded. Anyways, Sceptile at the very end. What are these Pokemon? They have Breaking Swipe as well. This is crazy. I totally forgot about this move. I was hoping for something like a Dragon Claw, but it is a Breaking Swipe, and of course now we're just gonna keep going at it with the Seed Bomb. We can easily get the shield here, while whatever move they throw can easily be managed by our Trevenant at this point, and I want to remind you that this is Ultra League after all, everything is much bulkier than usual. So I'm just gonna try to tank. Oh my goodness, we tanked the move with 1 HP and the seed bomb for the knockout, switching out on the Guzzlord. That was some big brain play by rolling the hit, and we get a very close victory for our battle. Into the final one, I guess, on this video, as we're having a terrible lead against a Sandslash. So those ice pumps are definitely gonna hurt, but what hurts the most is its steel typing, which resists our dragon moves, and of course we cannot pressure a lot this little spiky beast. So by applying that debuff, we get a little bit lucky here, because now one Dragon Claw might actually do the trick, and as it seems, rolling the hit realizes this, charging up to the crunch and then going for the Dragon Claw for some extra pressure. I guess that one more Ice Punch doesn't really hurt, or it does actually, and down we go. Not only we lost that shield advantage, but also the lead, so yeah, that is not looking that great for us. So now they still have 2 shields, but as it seems, Shadow Dragonite emerges. This is the one Pokemon that we were pretty happy to see here, because as it seems, they're gonna take a ton of damage by our confusions, and in the process we can easily get another shield out of play with another Side Strike. Armored Mewtwo not only is tanky but also hits like a truck, so right now we can easily switch out on our Trevenant and hope that they have a Pokemon pretty much weak to our Trev over here. Poliwrath emerges. This is absolutely awesome. We can get on the Seed Bomb, land a nice chunk on that Shadow Poliwrath, and now we can go down to the Icy Wind. It doesn't matter at all, Confusions can still connect, but can we get the knockout? Oh my goodness, we can, but still they have the Dragonite alive, and we're gonna end today's content with a negative vibe, but rolling the hit really delivered some pure entertainment for today's content. Before you go though, leave a huge like, subscribe to my content, and I hope to see you all into the next one.